Welcome to Money Lately. I'm so thrilled you're joining me for this explainer today, because we're tackling a topic that keeps, honestly, way too many of us awake at night: debt. But look, we aren't just going to sit here and stare at the problem. No way. We're going to completely demystify debt repayment using some really clear, actionable strategies. We're talking real solutions, simple analogies like snowballs and avalanches, and a structured game plan to get you right back to financial freedom.
So, $105,056. Just let that sink in for a sec. If you're feeling financial stress right now, I really want to validate that for you right out of the gate. According to 2024 data from Experian, that staggering number is the average total debt per person in the US. It's a massive burden. And hey, if you're carrying a piece of it yourself, you are absolutely not alone. And just to anchor the sheer macro scale of this problem even further, let's look specifically at credit cards. Total credit card balances alone have ballooned to $1.16 trillion. Trillion with a T. It's literally a mountain of high-interest debt that's just weighing down everyday consumers.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap. First, the state of our debt. Second, the debt snowball method. Third, the debt avalanche method. Fourth, a real-world debt case. Fifth, other relief strategies. And finally, staying debt-free.
Section 1. The state of our debt. Now, understanding exactly why repayment strategies are so critical right now is super important. We just can't get away with passively paying the minimums anymore. The data paints a really clear picture here. Experian reports that Generation Z actually saw the largest average debt increase, reaching nearly $250,000. Meanwhile, the average credit card balance per person has climbed up to $6,730. And, because of these rising balances and sky-high interest rates, credit card delinquencies are ticking up. Consumers across the board are just getting squeezed. It really proves that just making the minimum monthly payment, it's a trap. We need a targeted attack plan.
Section 2. The debt snowball method.
So the debt snowball method involves paying off your debts from the smallest balance to the largest balance, and you completely ignore the interest rate. Just pretend it's not there. Think of an actual snowball rolling down a snowy hill. It starts out small, right? But as it rolls, it gathers mass and momentum, moving faster and faster. By paying off that smallest debt first, you get this amazing immediate gratification. You get a real psychological dopamine hit from crossing an entire account off your list so quickly. And then you just take the money you were paying on that small debt and you roll it right into the next smallest one. Section 3, the debt avalanche method. Now for the debt avalanche method. This one dictates that you pay off debts from the highest interest rate down to the lowest, completely regardless of the total balance size. Picture a massive avalanche careening violently down a mountain, just crushing your most expensive, high-interest threats first. By targeting the debt that's literally charging you the most money just to carry it, you systematically save the absolute most money on interest over time. When we put these two side by side, Fidelity and Wells Fargo note a really crucial difference. The avalanche method is mathematically cheaper, hands down. It saves you money on interest. But the snowball method is very often the winner in the real world. Why? Because of those quick emotional wins. For a lot of folks, staring at a massive high-interest loan for 2 years without ever seeing an account actually close, it can be incredibly demoralizing. The snowball keeps you motivated enough to actually cross the finish line. So how do we actually set this up today? Wells Fargo and the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation outline a really actionable 4-step process. Step 1, make a list of absolutely everything you owe. Step 2, sort them out. You're either sorting by smallest balance for the snowball or highest interest rate for the avalanche. Step 3, budget extra. You're going to pay the minimums on everything, but throw every single extra dollar at your specific target debt. And step 4, roll over payments. When one debt is officially dead, you roll its payment amount directly into the next one on your sorted list. Simple as that. Section 4, a real-world debt case. Let's bring this from macro theory into micro reality. We're going to look at a poster from the debt-free community on Reddit, user Sharp Psychology 455. They've got about $33,000 in total debt and a monthly income of $3,184. Now, I have to add a quick funny aside here. Initially, this user had a total spreadsheet panic because they accidentally typed in their weekly income of $746 as their monthly income. Luckily, the community talked them off the ledge, corrected the math, and they finally got down to business. Here's what this user's specific spread of debt looks like. They've got a Capital One credit card with a tiny $122 balance, but a really toxic 29.4% interest rate. Ouch. Then a Chase card at $233 at nearly 26%. Next is a pretty massive $17,000 car loan sitting at roughly 7%. And lastly, a 0% interest family loan. They also had $5,000 in savings and basically just asked the internet, how do I attack this?
Well, the community advice came in incredibly fast. I want to read this slightly brutal but very honest piece of advice from the thread. Cancel your Spotify, Netflix, YouTube Premium. Use savings to knock out the credit cards first. It really highlights the universal pain of getting out of debt, doesn't it? You kind of have to cut those beloved subscriptions to free up necessary cash flow. You just need that extra shovel power to throw at the debt.
And this brilliantly illustrates the magic of actually mapping out your debts. Think about it. If the user chooses the snowball approach, they target their smallest balance first, right? Which is that $122 Capital One card. But if they go with the avalanche approach, they target their highest interest rate first, which is that exact same 29.4% Capital One card. So in this scenario, both methods actually point to attacking the exact same credit card first. It's just a perfect double win to kick off their debt payoff journey.
Section 5. Other debt relief strategies.
Now, sometimes strict repayment methods aren't quite enough on their own. Experian and the DFPI outline a few alternative tools for folks needing to maybe negotiate terms or combine payments. First up, debt consolidation loans. These let you streamline multiple high-interest debts into one single payment, hopefully at a much lower fixed rate. Then there are balance transfer cards. These often offer 0% introductory APR periods, essentially pausing the interest while you aggressively pay down the principal. And finally, there's nonprofit credit counseling. These counselors can actually help set up a debt management plan where they negotiate reduced rates or even waived fees directly with your creditors.
Section 6. Staying debt-free.
Getting out of debt is incredibly hard work. So what happens after the debt is finally cleared is what really guarantees your long-term financial freedom. I want to reiterate this super crucial piece of advice from Fidelity and the DFPI. Build an emergency fund. You need 3 to 6 months of essential expenses saved up in liquid cash. Why? Because life happens, right? Without an emergency fund, one unexpected medical bill, a sudden layoff, or a blown transmission in your car is going to force you to reach right back for that high-interest credit card, sending you directly back to square one. Your emergency fund is literally the wall that protects your newly debt-free life.
So the crucial point here is that taking control of your debt isn't just about color-coded spreadsheets and canceling Netflix. It's about reclaiming your future. You have the tools now, the snowball, the avalanche, the actionable budgeting steps. Now it's just time to put them into action. I want to leave you with this one thought. When the avalanche settles and that final balance hits zero, what will you do with your financial freedom?